Well, it says we're live. Hi, Doc Martin for KRAZ TV here at the Zero Channel. This is the adult side. Yeah, keep blinking. We'll see you go off. Thanks, Google or carriers or whatever. But, anyways, I hope I get through this broadcast. It's a great book. Absolutely marvelous. Read every word. Alexander the Great, His Life and His Mysterious Death by Anthony Everitt. Anthony Everitt, a former visiting professor in the visual and performing arts at Nottingham Trent University, who's written extensively on European culture, is also the author of Cicero, Augustus, Hadrian, The Triumph of Rome, The Rise of Rome, The Rise of Athens. He also serves as General Secretary of the Arts Council of Great Britain. He lives in Colchester, England, England's first recorded town founded by the Romans. It's a great book. Got this book at Tucson, Pima County Public Library. Like you can get it. It probably looks like a brand new book. It's just fascinating. More than 2 millennia have passed since Alexander the Great built an empire stretched to every corner of the ancient world, from the backwater kingdom of Macedonia to the Hellenic world, Persia, and ultimately to India, all before his untimely death at age 33. He actually died just a few days before his birthday. He died on June 11th. Oh, what a great, great guy. Oh, there was so much intrigue and stuff in the Macedonian court. His father, Philip, he had his eye put out by an arrow. They just did everything in the world. They took prisoners, slaves, oh, God, booty. Oh, God. But, anyways, he wasn't a Roman. I mean, he wasn't Greek. Excuse me. He wasn't Greek. But he loved the Greeks and actually forced them to do a lot of good things that did kind of sort of unite them in a way. And they were always fighting the Persians, Xerxes, and he had to fight Darius, and he kept having to fight him, but no fighting. Went all the way across to Babylonia. Finally, in a battle, he had to pursue him, and he didn't get to kill him, but he was treacherous. Darius the first was killed by his. Hope he was the first. Darius was killed treacherously by two of his own people, and of course, then Alexander killed them. And as he lay by the dying man, he gave him a promise that he would. Well, what a great person he was, even though he was his adversary. So he took his signet ring and he went back to Babylon. And he became the king of Persia, and actually stayed there. I don't know. I don't think he ever went back to Macedonia. But in his travels, he went down through to Egypt and started the town of Alexandria. I guess everywhere they went, they always started a town called Alexander this or Alexander the Less or whatever. But he was far-flung empires. He was always having to put down rebellions. He conquered a lot of people. He had the small works, but he was a fantastic military strategist. And he'd run through them like crap through a goose, boy. I'll tell you, this guy was something else. He tried to be fair. He was very generous to his men. He gave everybody a lot of gold. He spent a lot of money. He actually never did try to marry, but he did eventually, just for political reasons and to maybe have an heir. But he always had a boyfriend and whatever. That's just the way they did things back then. But it's a fascinating story. And this is one of the more definitive works. It's very concise and a lot of research. So Anthony Everitt, you're a great author, and someday I hope to meet you too. But we'll see what happens. Well, like I said, get this book at your library. You just can't believe the facts, and it's an easy read. Even though it's a little thick, it's got a lot of citations and resources and stuff. I think you'll enjoy it like I did. Alexander the Great. It changed the paradigm of how modern things went. They just say, what would have happened if he had lived? Also, about his mysterious death. Some people speculate that maybe he was poisoned, but this guy's worked out. Probably he wasn't, but he had gotten malaria once before. But he was working on the east side of Babylon trying to open up the swamps and stuff, and he probably got bit again. because it took him 11 days to die. He had a fever, and so they think it was the malaria mosquito that finally got him. So it's probably a good chance, and that's what most people believe. So he died in a fever on June the 11th. Thank you so much for watching KRAZ TV. And if you can, contribute to us at KRAZTV.com and keep reading books like this, Alexander the Great. Thank you. Anthony Everitt, Zero Channel.